This episode of the Buffalonian Podcast is brought to you by the Buffalonian division of the Castsource Podcast Network. The podcast network built by Buffalonians for Buffalonians, featuring the Wings of Blue Cheese podcast and the Buffalonian Podcast, with more shows on the way very soon. Find these shows wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts or simply visit our website posted in the episode description. Now, without further ado, let's get into the Bills, Sabres, hot takes, and more. The Buffalonian Podcast. All right. Let's go.
We are back with the Buffalonian Podcast. I'm Joe Callie, and as always, I'm joined by none other than Dom Loss. London, baby. The Bills are playing in London 9:30 a.m. tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. 9:25?
Not tomorrow, 2 days from now.
Oh, that's right. It's Friday. Dude, my internal clock is thrown amok right now. I don't know what's happening.
I think about the Bills players that actually had to fly to London. And
I know. Maybe we're feeling some like sympathy jet lag or something. I have no idea, because you were saying it was noon. It's 11 a.m. when we're recording this. So, I mean, I know. And not as bad as saying the Bills play tomorrow, but I mean, guess
it's not. Bit. It's not. It's just put it this way. It's not ideal, but
no.
I will say, to cut you off, the most unideal thing is that we are breaking our recently new tradition of the Pepsi and hot sauce, but this is important for the experiment. We tested our hypothesis. If we do
this is all part of the scientific method out there.
But if we do it, will they win? They did. Now we have to see if we don't do it, will they lose? And if they lose, that makes us known that we have to continue to do it. But if they win, it destroys the entire experiment. And it was a one-time gag.
Well, you know what? Who says I don't have it in my mug right now? Who says I'm not just fooling you?
Down the whole thing right now, then.
It's water. I'd be able to sip this in 2 seconds. That would be. We would know right then and there.
Come on, Gaston. You can't do some acting and.
Oh God, I can't believe you just exposed that on this. But no, unfortunately, we're putting the scientific method to the test. If the Bills do win tomorrow, we don't need to drink Buffalo Pepsi. If they lose, we need to drink Buffalo Pepsi. So maybe we could. Ooh, I have an idea. Possible hype video incoming, but we're not going to do that. I'm not going to whistleblow that on the pod. We're going to save that for maybe later this week. I don't know, something. You shall see. Dom shall see. He has no idea either. So we're cooking on all burners right now. Anyway, the Bills play the Jaguars in London on Sunday, and they're currently 5.5-point favorites. The Jags have been there for a week. Okay. They have. Bills are coming off a very impressive showing against the Miami Dolphins. These other Floridians think they might have a chance. I don't think so. I think the Buffalonians trump the Floridians, even though Jacksonville has had a track record of being the kryptonite for the Buffalo Bills. That Urban Meyer game a couple years back and all that. So what are your thoughts heading into this game, though? Heading to London? My family, some of them are there right now, ready for the game. And if the Bills are as jet lagged as they are, I'm sorry for them.
Well, I mean, good for them. But it's interesting. It's an interesting matchup. I saw the stat where these are the two teams that have played the most international games. The Jags playing 10 and the Bills playing 7. Of course, 6 of those were in Toronto. So I don't know. They count all the same, but Jacksonville's mostly played in London, so I don't know how much. Obviously, the Bills played Jacksonville in London before.
Yeah, with not saying this is EJ Manuel, but number 3. That game was a couple weeks ago. It was like the anniversary of it, right? Last time the Bills played.
I believe so. I want to say it was 20-16. So 2016, excuse me.
Wow,
So
EJ
I might be
Manuel was
wrong.
leading a comeback, I believe. He was mounting a comeback in London.
Yeah, 2016 they play in London. So yeah, I mean,
Not
the
a
more
lot of Bills history in London, but
is it
I mean,
2016? I don't think it was
I don't think it
2016.
was that recent. It
No,
had
I
to have
don't
been
think it was
before that.
2016. I read the wrong one, but that's fine.
Yeah.
In the mid 2010s, I'm not gonna look at. I don't care
No,
enough to
it
look
was
at.
it was the EJ Manuel era.
It was
2016 was
DJ
not the
Manuel.
EJ.
That's what I was
Yeah.
about to say. I saw that they won, and I was like, I'm pretty sure they lost in London. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's an interesting matchup. Obviously, you have Trevor Lawrence and Josh Allen. I think are the headliners of this competition.
Which
Just because
Josh Allen? There's
our
two of them.
Josh,
Yeah, I know.
the
Hey,
Josh
wait, I
Allen.
do have something to say though. Josh Allen will win this football game. I can tell you that right
Oh
here.
God, or they could tie. Come on, not out of the realm.
Why are we rooting for ties? Come on, we don't even
I'm
want to
not
speak.
rooting for a
We
tie,
don't
but
want to
you said
speak a
Josh Allen's gonna
tie.
win the football game.
We
There's
don't
a
want to speak a
non-zero.
tie into existence, man.
There is a non-0% chance that is incorrect.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah, I mean, it's T-Law versus Josh. I think this is a little bit different. Trevor Lawrence than they played back out in his rookie season when even the Jags won 9-6. This is a more improved Trevor Lawrence, but I will say it's an interesting Jaguars team because they've underachieved at this point. I mean, they were 2-2. They get kind of a sloppy win against the Colts. They play tight against the Chiefs, but really, I thought that was a really winnable game.
yeah,
And then they get trounced at home by Houston, which was a bizarre result. I mean, credit to Houston, they're playing really good football, but I mean, the Jags, I thought the Jags could potentially be the number one seed in the AFC because I thought their schedule was going to allow them to win so many games. I was all on the hype, and then last week, obviously, as you mentioned, they were already in London. They won 23-7 against Atlanta, but pick six. I mean, I think that score might have been not closer, but like I just feel like Atlanta is just so putrid offensively of Desmond Ritter that like if there was a competent quarterback in Atlanta, that game would have got competitive because their offense only scored 16 points, and I don't think the Atlanta defense is particularly great. So I think it's an interesting matchup because yes, do I think the Jags can hang? Two things. I do think the Jags are talented and they can hang with the Bills. And I think it's also important to note that the Bills are often extremely high, like crushing
yeah,
your rival. It doesn't get higher than that. So it's down to drop a little bit in the intensity. And you got to wonder, like, with the drop in intensity, the Jags kind of come
could
up
they
for
let it
their big
slip?
game. This is
Yeah,
a big game for the Jags. Like, do they kind of meet in the center? So I think it's going to be a really competitive and interesting game.
yeah, I would agree with you. There's no need to discount the Jags at all. Trevor Lawrence is showing out. They made it to the playoffs last year, even though that division is kind of a race right now. Every team is 2-2. So to say the Jags had it easy like last year, saying that they would make it to the playoffs like guaranteed, I don't know about that. That division could get interesting, but no, I there's no need to discount them at all. Doug Peterson's a great head coach, very aggressive head coach. He's known for going for it on fourth down. Trevor Lawrence is going to go out there and do the best he can. The Bills defense, though, I have confidence in being able to stop a lot of what they try and do. I know I watched the game last week in Toy Story Farm because I do not have ESPN Plus, so I was stuck on Disney Plus. So I didn't really get to see the players. I've only seen the highlights. You know what I mean? I saw Bijan Robinson bust an ankle in in Toy Story form though, so at least I could say that happened. But no, Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he's escapable too. He escapes out of the pocket, rushes for some yardage as well. Dual threat. So I think truthfully, this is going to be an interesting game. And like you said, the Bills are coming off a high. Can the Jags swoop in and take it away from them? That's the question. Like, hungry dog runs faster at this point. And the Bills coming off of such a hot victory, they might look at the Jags and be like, this isn't a rival. You know, I'm not saying they're going to do that, but the Jags might be a little hungrier for this win because the Bills are the titan of the AFC right now, pretty much. So after the past 3 weeks, so you're right. This is a big game for Jacksonville, and they have a lot going into it, more than the Bills might.
Yeah, and then to talk about what's going on right now with injuries. I mean, as
Yeah,
you
I
can
see.
see
I
in
got
the
the
figure
ticker
below,
going.
I like that. Greg Rousseau is out of a foot. I want to briefly talk about that though, just in itself. I think this is an interesting scenario now with the Bills, as you can see also below, you can see that they play the Giants the week after and New England. And then after New England, they play Thursday night football against Tampa Bay. I think there's real potential that this is an IR situation where he misses the next 4 games. He misses
Yeah.
this game, Giants game, Pats game, Bucks game, comes back Sunday night football, November 5th against the Bengals. So you would give him from last Sunday, the 1st, till the 5th of November, you would give him an entire month off. Again, we don't know how serious the injury is, but if he's not practicing, I obviously don't think there's a. I'm just speculating, but I don't think there's a broken bone. But I think maybe he has some discomfort. Maybe it's a foot sprain or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely something where Greg Rousseau is one of the most important players on this defense. He was playing at a high level, and it sucks to see that he's not going to play on Sunday and maybe a little more in the future. But at the same time, we talked about the first 4 games for the Bills in the week 1 pod preview of if they could get to 3-1, that's a really good stretch because the middle 2 are easy, but the division, if you could split those, I think we look at this 4-game stretch of Jacksonville, New York, Patriots, Bucks a little bit differently, right? Going into
Right.
the year, we're all like, oh, the Jags are a team that could be the number 1 team in the AFC. The Giants are looking to build on a playoff team. The Pats are always frisky, and the Bucks, we don't really know. The Bucks are probably
They
the only
can
team
be.
out of the 4 teams. I would say the Bucks is a team that are like a little bit higher on my radar from the preseason, but I still think the Bills should handle them. But the Pats have dropped a little bit. I still think they're frisky. It's a road divisional game, but they haven't looked really all that great, especially now that they've lost their 2 best defensive players for a couple. They're going to be out for those games, Christian Gonzalez and Matt Judon. The Giants have just looked terrible, and that offensive line is going to get wrecked. And the Jags, I still respect the Jags. I still think the Jags are eventually going to turn on. Hopefully not this week, but they're off to a bizarre start as well. So losing Rousseau is a huge loss. But then to go into the big potential news of Von Miller potentially playing.
Yeah.
I think this is a shock.
Do you want that? Do you want him to play? Because
So I
that's
will
the
say
big
this.
question at this point, because a lot of people
I
are
will
kind of
say
mixed.
I will say this with certainty that I'm in the room. Greg Rousseau's injury played 0 effect on whether Von Miller was going to play in this game or not.
Right.
I don't think Groot being out has changed anything. That's just my opinion. I don't think the Bills work like that. But we lost Groot, now we had they're very. I mean, heck, he was cleared before week 1. They put him on IR for 4 weeks. They're very calculated with this stuff. I always thought it would be weird for him to play in London. I think you and I have both been
We agreed on that. Yeah.
thought processes of it makes sense to return Sunday Night Football against New York, but
Yeah.
if he looked good in practice, I mean, he flew, which I don't know how much that means because I always thought he was going to fly over there, but
Yeah.
I guess maybe if you would expect that if he went over there that he would play, because why would you want to take how long of a flight is it? 12 hours?
Something like that. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
long.
if you want,
Mhm.
why would you want him to screw up his sleep schedule if you were just going to not play him? So I wouldn't be I think now, sitting here 11:30 a.m. on a Friday, I think he's going to play on a snap count.
Yeah, because of, I mean, like you said, he was activated anyway before Rousseau, not activated necessarily, but he's able to play off the pup before Rousseau's injury. Now having the injury, it might play a little bit of a factor. Like,
I think it plays 0 factor. I
You
don't think
think?
no. They don't.
I mean, we have the depth without him. I think that would be easy.
I don't think the Bills go into it being we have to play Von now because Greg is out. I don't think that crosses their mind one bit. I think it's us as fans probably because we're fans, but
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. It's just, listen, we have the depth even without Von Miller. We've seen it, right? Seen guys stepping up. Leonard Floyd really taking a stand here. Okay. You and I, like you said, have not been on the train of Von Miller playing in London. I'd rather save him for a home return against the New York Giants in prime time, personally. Would he play on a snap count? I think that is a very high possibility. I think that can happen, like you said. We won't see a lot of him. We'll see him warming up. Pretty much, it's going to be an in-game warm-up, I think, like for the season, get him back into the action a little bit. But I don't know. It's just,
Well,
It's going to be interesting. I can't like put my foot exactly on what's going to happen right now because McDermott can be a little cheeky
he's
sometimes
a
with
little
this stuff.
cheeky. I will say with this, I remember we were all excited Trey White was activated after his ACL injury, and he only played the first 2 drives of the game,
Right.
and then sat the rest of the way.
Yep.
I don't think they're just gonna play Von the first 2 drives of the game like that. Like, it's a little different being a cornerback and an edge rusher like that. That's they're like the substitutions are a little bit different, if that makes sense. Like, so I would assume if he plays, he's gonna play like 15 to 20 snaps, like 20 snaps. I think he'll play 20 snaps if he plays. I mean, listen, you still have Leonard Floyd, who is the reason why you picked him up for depth. He's looked really good pass rushing. I think Epinesa has taken a step. Shaq Lawson's been solid. I also think Kingsley Jonathan has also been really solid as well. So, and also you're getting a lot of pressure inside with Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones. So people could be concerned about, are they going to get enough pressure if Greg out, even if Von is also out? I still think they'll be fine against this Jaguars front, but it's definitely something to monitor. And then finally, for the Jags, real quick injury wise, it looks like their starting linebacker Devin Lloyd is going to miss. He hasn't practiced all week with a thumb.
Yeah.
And Doug Peterson, as noted earlier, the Jaguars head coach, said that he's optimistic that Zay Jones plays. He hasn't played since week 1 with a knee. That could be a big upgrade for the Jags. Obviously, then they could have the 3 wide receivers of Zay Jones, Kirk.
Yeah, and he had a good year last year too, so that's a big upgrade.
Yeah, but losing their starting linebacker is huge. So I would say I'm gonna go with 3 things this week because I've been so up in the air about the Dolphins. I admittedly haven't focused a lot about the Jags, and also I haven't watched a lot of the Jags because
I've been high on the win from last week.
I also haven't watched all the Jags because I was working the Bills game last week, so I was able to watch their game. But I think the 3 things to look at is I'll do 4 things because the one thing I'll note is that if Von plays, you should see how does he look. Is he getting pressure on the quarterback? Is he able to stand his ground against blocks in the run game? Von Miller, elite pass rusher always, but I think the underrated part of his game is he's always been an elite run defender as well. So that is also where his health of his knee is going to get tested as well. So I would say that is something to look at. So my 3 things now. Evan Ingram, the tight end for the Jags, really more of a wide receiver, but he's a game changer. Like, he's one of those guys that's a really good tight end. The Bills have yet to be tested against the tight end position, really. I mean, the Jets don't use their tight ends.
No.
The Raiders don't use their tight ends.
Commanders don't. A little bit last night we saw a little bit. But
Logan Thomas was concussed and missed a game. So,
so
they didn't have to deal with Logan Thomas, who would have been their probably best threat. And the Dolphins really don't use their tight ends all that much either. So this is a huge test because you look at this stretch we're talking about, this 3-game stretch they play Evan Ingram. I know Darren Waller has been disappointed, but he's still Darren Waller. And they play Hunter Henry. Those are 3 pretty good tight ends in a row. And then later in the season, they play back-to-back of Dallas Goedert and 87 for the Chiefs, Travis Kelce. So I think this is a good test for Terrell Bernard and I don't want to say Matt Milano because Matt Milano is such a veteran, but really for Terrell Bernard because this is the first tight end that is going to cause mismatches. How do you guard him? Obviously, Bernard and Milano converted safeties.
Yeah, I mean they're both. They could play a big role in that. I think, especially the way we've been seeing them play. They're good in coverage, so I think that could be a huge help.
Yeah, and then
will Poyer be back or no?
It's looking likely. He was practicing. I apologize. I should have said this. I think Christian Benford is going to play. He has that shoulder injury.
Yeah.
We didn't really touch on this with Kyrie Elam. I think Kyrie Elam's going to start. I think that's going to be him and Dane Jackson because I think
they'll rotate Benford in.
I think Benford's shoulder is pretty screwed up, and they would just prefer him probably to be active, but just be the 3rd corner. But we'll. I don't want to talk about the corners because they haven't put Trey officially in IR. They haven't signed someone to the 53-man, if I'm not mistaken. So you don't really know a lot there. And then Poyer was full last practice. So
beautiful.
I think he's going to play, and DeMar's going to be the healthy scratch again. So I appreciate you. I was so focused on Groot and Von Miller. I completely blanked on talking
Groot
about
was breaking
Poyer
this morning. So that's the big news of the day.
I completely forgot about that. So thank you. But second thing is Trevor Lawrence is a guy that is athletic, as you mentioned, can use his legs. You got to be able to keep containing. This is, probably the first real test of an athletic quarterback. I know Sam Howell had the big run in week 3, but I wouldn't consider him to be a massively athletic quarterback.
Right.
Zach Wilson's is decently athletic, but I wouldn't consider him to be an elite athlete. And obviously Jimmy G is not an elite athlete, and Tua is not just, he has good pocket movement, but I don't think he's an elite athlete either. Trevor Lawrence is the first elite of the elite quarterbacks, athletic. That, again, you're going to face Jalen Hurts later in the year. You're going to face Patrick Mahomes later in the year. This is the first real test of a guy that I think is super athletic and likes to use his legs. So how does the D-line kind of keep him in the pocket would also be big. And then another thing. So the two things, I'll just do 2 more. 2 for the defense. Offense now.
Just do it all. Come on.
Josh Allen.
Yeah.
The Jaguars, Josh Allen. How are you going to block him? Because we saw it.
He's a
2
monster.
years ago.
Yeah.
He is a game changer. He was a game changer last week in Atlanta.
You even see Josh say in a press conference, our Josh say, I'm scared of that guy. He knows. He knows he's coming.
So how are you? He is a difference maker. He's in the same. I think he's a tier 2 pass rusher. Like, I think Crosby, Bosa, Parsons, Watt, Garrett, like the 5 tier 1 guys. Josh Allen is the tier 2, creaking right back up on those tier 1 guys. You have to know where he is at all times. I think he's really mostly going to rush against the left tackle. So Dion versus him will be a really interesting matchup. But yeah, I mean, the Bills have done a fantastic job against these pass rushers so far this year of providing help. Other than, even week 1, they did a pretty decent job with Quinn Williams pass rushing wise. So that will be an interesting matchup. And the last thing for the offense is the Jaguars like to run a lot of single high safeties. And the Bills historically, and even this season, have killed teams when they run single high safeties.
Do you think they change?
So it's going to be interesting. Do the Jags kind of switch it up and play more 2 high? Or do they stay in the 1 high, and that leaves open opportunities on the outside I think this could be a big Gabe Davis game.
Yeah.
I also think even if they clog up the middle with Devin Lloyd being out, I'm just going to keep bashing it until it happens. I think this could be Dalton Kincaid's first career touchdown game.
Yep. And I'm playing him in fantasy, so I'm hoping for it too. So I think you're absolutely right. Gabe Davis is known to bust up that kind of coverage. He goes straight down the field. We saw it last week. Who else shouted Jim Nantz? It's because he busted them up. So I think personally, Gabe Davis is going to have a big game. Diggs had the big game last week. Gabe's going for a big game this week. Expect 2 touchdowns from him. I'm going to say that right now. And then Dalton Kincaid gets a touchdown as well. Listen, and the big thing is everyone's like, oh, the Jacksonville fans in London, they played there. They have more of a fan base. The mafia moves. Come on. I know so many people that are in London right now. Please do not even try and say that. And you know how loud that stadium was last week? Like, if you bring an ounce of that with half the crowd, it's like a full-on Bill stadium. So, come on. And what's cool, just a little tidbit here, cool about this game is it's being played in the stadium the new Bill stadium is being based off of. So you can kind of get a taste of what it's going to feel like in there. So that'd be kind of cool,
Yeah, it looked sick.
Yeah.
A lot of the Bills media took a tour of the facility.
Yeah, I didn't realize how much the outside looked like the renderings too, like the outer shell of the stadium. Like it's all very similar.
The only thing they said was difference is like in Tottenham. Is that what it's called?
Tottenham.
Yeah,
Tottenham Hotspurs. That's the stadium. Yeah.
I'm just gonna say the Spurs stadium. I'm not gonna say that.
Say Hotspurs. Yeah.
So then the Spurs stadium, the only thing that's different is that overhang that you see, it covers all seats, and for the Bills one, it's only gonna cover about 70 or. I thought they said 66, but someone said 70, so maybe it is 70.
70 seats or 70% of the seats?
70%. Not 70
okay.
Seats.
I was going to say 70 seats. I'm like, what are we talking about here? Like, is it only overhanging in one section? Like,
oh my God, it is before 12 o'clock. Holy cow.
Waking up
but
still.
yeah, it's very cool to see that stadium, because that stadium looks sick. So if that's like the Bills stadium kind of looks like, I can't wait. A little different.
Yeah,
that'd be sick. But yeah, I was gonna mention that before we make our score predictions. So
yeah. Sorry, I saw the media tour on Instagram this morning when I woke up, and I'm like, this is what the Bill Stadium looks like. We're in for a treat. This is gonna be awesome. Except the Just Freeze baby thing. I don't think I've ever heard in the renderings. You know that flag that's hanging up. I still don't think I've ever heard anyone mention or say that at all. Like just freeze, baby. Yeah. Who's saying that? I want to know. If you're out there and you say that, please let us know because I will stop saying that. But I still have yet to hear anyone say that. Anyway, it's time for game predictions. As I said, Bills minus 5.5 point favorites. Give me the Bills. Absolutely. But I'm trying to create a little suspense there. The Bills are going to win this game 38-12.
Jesus. Well,
Two doinks missed on the kicks for PATs from Jacksonville. Even though they have what's his name, McManus, right?
I had the Jags, McManus. So hopefully not. But listen, man, I didn't pick against the Bills last week. This is kind of a trap game.
You're picking against the Bills?
Well, I'm picking the Bills, but I'm just saying, like, I feel
like beware.
I feel like honestly, this is like, you know, in college football, like you win a big time game against your rival.
Yeah.
And the next week you play, like, I'm trying to think of a better example than I'm thinking in my head, but because they already played each other. But like Oklahoma and Texas play each other this week. Whoever wins that game probably plays next week. I don't know if they have a bye, whatever.
Yeah.
Coming from that game, and you had to go to play Iowa State, who's not very good. You normally see that game be a lot closer than you probably would think because you just get off of such an emotional high of winning that game that you're like, oh, it's Iowa State? Who the hell cares about Iowa State? I'm not saying they don't care about Jacksonville, but it's like, oh my God, we just kicked the crap out of Miami. They beat them by 4 touchdowns. We're the top dogs in the AFC. Oh, we have to now deal with traveling to London, getting our sleep schedules right.
Yeah. They left at the right time though. They left at night, didn't sleep. So like that's a good idea.
One of our best defensive linemen may be out. We may get someone returned. We literally just lost one of the leaders in our secondaries to an Achilles injury. We don't know what the heck our other corner is going to be healthy. Our other safety is practically playing on one knee. Like, we don't know. Like, our defense is a little banged up.
Yeah.
I'm a little sleepy. Like, I can't open my eyes all the way. And I think this game is going to be really close. I think the first half is going to be incredibly sloppy.
You think it's going to be a dogfight?
I think it's going to be a 4-quarter dogfight. I think this is going to be a really sloppy, really ugly game that we just. At the end of the day, you're just like, when we get to like the 5-minute mark in the fourth quarter, just being like, can we just win? It doesn't matter how much we win by, as long as we win.
Yeah.
I got the Bills. Last second field goal by T-Bass, 41 yards, 23-20.
I also want to add, I think Ed Oliver has 2 sacks in this game. I think he eats them up. I think that's a big one.
I think the player of the game will be Kyrie Elam. I think Kyrie Elam gets a big time interception in the fourth quarter.
Oh, we have breaking news.
Oh, God. This is going to ruin our pod?
No. This isn't going to ruin our pod. This isn't to do with the Bills. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you saw this. I don't know. The Miami Dolphins are trading.
Oh, I saw this.
Yeah, for Chase Claypool. Sorry, someone just sent it to me.
No, so I thought for a second you're gonna be like, "Oh, Von Miller's out." I'm like, "Dang, we talked for like 15 minutes about Von Miller, maybe."
Yeah, no, we're good. Yeah, Chase Claypool is gonna save the Miami Dolphins season, I guess. So we're gonna see how that goes.
Why would you want to give up assets, even whatever they gave? Like,
I don't even know what they gave up.
Even if you gave up something for him, I just don't understand that. But whatever.
Yeah, sources tell me this ends. Yeah, there's
So you have Big Ed as your player of the game?
I have Ed Oliver. Yeah, I think he gets another stiff arm sack too.
Hey, we were right on Josh last week. We were both. We went 2 for 2.
Yeah, Diggs should have. I love how he said though. Diggs should have been the offensive player of the week though. Like all class right there.
Yeah.
But Stephen A's sources are saying otherwise, right? So anyway, so moving on from the Bills, we've got our 5 other games of the week and our mortal locks. So we're gonna roll through these. Miami, of course. Chase Claypool probably will not play in this game. Do not expect. He doesn't know the playbook. Maybe a couple easy plays. Miami's playing the Giants. What'd you say?
Probably never know the playbook. I said I'll probably never know the playbook.
No, knowing Chase Claypool, yeah, why would he? Miami versus the Giants. Miami is 12.5 point favorites. There's no surprise here because of the 70 points and how god awful the Giants have been. Do you think this is a trap game? Saquon Barkley's return?
No. It's interesting from two. I guess the only reason why this game is semi-interesting to me a little bit is like the Giants also got embarrassed
Yeah,
in like
big
a pretty
time.
big stage. Like I know Miami lost at 1 p.m., but it was 16 million people watching that game. Like that was one of the biggest audiences for a non-primetime game. The Giants were playing on Monday Night Football and got clowned. And so I think both teams are kind of looking for a rebound game, but like
Yeah.
for the Giants, like he couldn't have drawn a worse rebound game because there's no way
No.
there's no way they could stop
Miami
this
put 70
offense.
points up against a bad defense, and that's exactly what the Giants have.
They need their
So,
D line to play like monsters, but I don't think there's any way the
no.
Giants can stop them. And I do think this is kind of a get right game. If we're saying, oh, who's going to have a get right game, I think it's the Miami defense. I think they force a couple turnovers.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
they
with
get.
Danny Dimes, we have no
I
idea
think
what could
they play their
happen.
best game. I think they play their best game of the year, and I think Miami wins 45-14.
Okay. Okay. Oh, you think? Oh. Yeah. Eesh. That's a bloodbath.
You're
You
the
know
one that
what?
just predicted the Jags to lose 38-12. Oh my
Yeah, you're
God.
right. You're right. Yeah. And
I know my score's wider, but like my score's against two unequal teams, my boy.
I tell you what. I'm taking the bull by the horns in this one. Okay, I really am. I feel like I'm feeling a trap. Okay. Oh,
How's it
Miami's put 70 points up against a bad defense. The Giants were embarrassed, but they're horrible. Isn't Saquon Barkley coming back? I'm playing him this week in my fantasy team.
I think he is.
Yeah. I think he has a career day, and I think he runs all over the Miami defense. While also David Achane, is that his name?
Devon A-Chain.
Devon Achane, yeah. I think he runs as well. I think it's a running battle. I think the passing game is moot. I think Daniel Jones is rushing for the Giants along with Saquon Barkley. Give me the Giants. This is a ballsy pick. I'm telling you that right now. Give me the Giants up by 3. It's going to be Giants 24, Dolphins 21. Dolphins don't rebound.
I had to say something
Okay.
about all this MVP talk. Can we kind
Oh.
of first?
Can we correct the power rankings too?
Wait, time out. First, can we kind of not like we're 4 weeks in the year? I really hate this because like I love the Bills, and this isn't, but like the last 3 years, the Bills have always been like number 1 or 2 in power rankings at this point.
Yes.
And I've always broken a heart. And like, yeah, that's kind of like it's this year kind of thing. Like you got to think about this year's pessimistic. It is pessimistic. Okay, I'm admitting I'm being a pessimistic here. And also the thing of Josh, like Josh is always like number 1 in the MVP, and then it kind of has like that month where it's like, oh, he's out of it and whatever. I still think he would have won
normally.
I still want to say this. He would have won MVP in 2020 if Aaron Rodgers didn't absolutely go nuclear. Like if Aaron Rodgers did not go nuclear and had a standard season, Josh Allen would have won MVP in 2020. Nothing.
Yeah.
I only have one thing that really made me mad. This Bill Barnwell guy at ESPN goes on television and shows his top 3 MVPs candidates, like his rankings or whatever.
Okay.
Number 1 is Tua, number 2 is Brock Purdy, and number 3 is Justin Herbert. Like, are you watching the games? Like,
what?
I don't care about. Okay, I don't care. Tua could be 1. I think Tua probably still should be 1 in my opinion because I do think head-to-head kind of matters, but Tua's worst game is way better than Josh's worst game, and the numbers lean Tua. I think we'll see later in the season, but I think Josh having Brock Purdy ahead of his own teammate CMC is a joke. Like that's just like okay. Like I don't even think I think Brock Purdy is a solid quarterback. I think he's a pretty decent quarterback to be honest. I think he gets hated a lot because of the system, but like
no, he wouldn't be successful in the
like,
system if he wasn't a good quarterback. I mean, that's just
like the
that's
system
it at the
is
end of the day.
important. Yeah, the system is important for him. There is Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert threw for a $160 against a trash Raiders team. I know he was injured, but like he's 2-2. Like, what are we talking about? Justin Herbert being
I love Justin Herbert, but I agree with you.
Being a hypocrite, being like, oh, I don't want Josh Allen to be 1 right now, but like getting all up in my own about Justin Herbert being ahead of him in some dude's rankings. But like,
no, they're the guy has to be legally blind and not being able to watch the games.
If you said to me, I think a perfectly fine ranking is Tua, CMC, Josh.
Yeah.
If you said that, heck, I would even really take Lamar. If you would say Lamar over Josh,
he's had a good year so far.
I could at least respect that. Like, you know what I mean? I could at least respect being like, okay, like you have Lamar over him. That's a debate or whatever. I love Herbert. I mean, we all know like your brother's a huge Herbert fan. Like,
yeah, he is.
I love Herbert. Like, but like, what are we kind of doing here with that? I know he had like 2 really elite games against the Vikings and Titans, but like he didn't play that. He was all right against the Dolphins, and he was
Yeah,
bad last week, like really
he's thrown
bad.
400 yards in lost games, unfortunately. And
That's not his
I don't
fault,
think
but
that's
like
his fault, but at the same time, like we need to take all things into account here, you know? Like
I don't know.
also, can we
I
just
think that's a little
can I
extreme.
add to this chat for a second?
Yeah.
The power rankings. In what world this season, okay? I get the Bills had a week 1 mishap, okay? It was bad. In what world are the Chiefs higher than the Bills right now? I get it overall, right? I'm talking recency, like this season. The Bills have outperformed them throughout the season, I would say. The offenses look better throughout the season. The only weapon they have on the Chiefs is Travis Kelce, and he was moot because they were just taking him out of the game. You have Kadarius Toney, Jerick McKinnon. Like, what are you even doing? Like, I get it. I get it. It's the Chiefs, right? Can never count them out. But at the same time, like let's take a real look at one season. That's what the power rankings are. There's no bias from previous seasons. It's this season's performance.
Yeah,
Are
I would
you
agree.
looking
I
at it
mean,
right now?
oh no, I'm looking at the fact. Yeah, just Justin Herbert's had Colin QBR had a better game than Josh Allen. Josh Allen's worst game was worse than Justin Herbert's, but Josh Allen would be it's ridiculous. Josh Allen is 3rd in QBR right now. Justin Herbert is 7th. And
Yeah.
Josh has let me see. Josh has it doesn't show. I think he has a 106 passer rating. I think Justin Herbert's like a 99, I want to say. Like, it's just ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like that really I'm sorry. I saw that and I was like, that has to be a joke. Like, I like Herbert as much as the next person. 106.3. He has the same pass rating as Josh. I all the ratings, all the EPA per play, rushing, like even PFF grade. I think Josh is like 5th, and I think Herbert may be like 8th. Like
Yeah.
it's just not this. I don't know. We'll move on, but that really it upset me for that and Brock Purdy. Those 2 guys should not be ahead of. And your point about the power rankings, it's the same people that have the Eagles as the number 1 team in the league because they're 4-0.
Right.
They have
Yeah,
not looked like the number
exactly.
1 team. I do
No, they
think
almost lost to the Commanders. What are you
the Chiefs
talking
are
about,
just
number 1 team?
the Chiefs are just they have a lot of respect and you have to respect them, but I also think the Bills have been better so far than the first 4 games in the Chiefs, but does that mean they're gonna be better in a couple months? No, but I
Right.
think right now
But do you understand what I'm saying? Power
no, I agree.
rankings are the games played so far in one
I agree.
season.
It's not what happened last season, it's not what's gonna
Right.
happen. You know, you should do it based off who you think is gonna win this week.
You know
Like,
what?
if you
You
thought
know what?
that
We're gonna do power rankings every week now. We're gonna be unbiased because
God.
we're gonna get the people what they
Alright,
want. We're gonna do
we
MVP
I'm
odds.
sorry, I apologize. I completely distracted us for 10 minutes.
All right.
Let's go to the next I apologize. I completely distracted us with that.
All right. All right. We'll talk more about that on Tuesday, I think, after another week. We'll see what happens. Anyway, the New England Patriots are taking on the New Orleans Saints. They're 1-point favorites, so this is a pick 'em at this point. Both teams have looked rather lackluster this season. I don't know. Give me the Patriots because Bill Belichick has a better defensive mind and I think can completely shut down New Orleans. And didn't they just sign the Chargers
They
cornerback?
traded for JC Jackson. Yeah,
What did they
we could skip
trade? Do we know what they
like
traded?
like a 6th round pick. We listen, I'm telling you right now, we could just like skip over this game and just say
Yeah.
pretty much this is a sentence all that matters. Bill Belichick, even how much he gets hated, is a significantly better head coach than Dennis
Yeah.
Allen.
Yep.
The Patriots are at home and they're in a situation where everyone's counting them out because they got flashed by 35. Derek Carr is not healthy. Patriots are going to win like 17-13 or some ugly game, but I think the Patriots are going to win.
Yep. Alrighty, next game. We're not even going to talk about that. Only talking about that one because it's an AFC East matchup. Speaking of an AFC East team matching up, the Denver Broncos are 2.5-point favorites against the New York Jets. I'm taking the Jets in this game, especially after seeing the way they played against the Chiefs. Zach Wilson had a good game. If he didn't drop that at the end, they would have won that game. Except for that egregious holding call that was not called, where we're literally watching someone get manhandled by the jersey. Anyway, the Jets take this game easy. The Broncos, they're not good. It's Nathaniel Hackett's return to Denver, but that doesn't mean anything. If Zach Wilson plays the way he did last week, you can beat the Denver Broncos. So give me the Jets, 17-14 Jets. That's what I'll do. That's what I'll say.
All right, I promise this is my last thing about Herbert. Herbert has a 76.3 PFF grade, which is 11th out of 33 quarterbacks. Josh Allen has an 81.5, which is 5th out of 33 quarterbacks. So another statistic that's just so silly.
That just disproves everything. Yeah.
And
Oh my
Brock
God.
Purdy, to talk him, he's a 73.0, which is 17th out of 33. So I'm not even the biggest PFF fan, but like, watch the games, man. Watch the games if you're going to be paid by ESPN.
Yes.
But
Yes.
Denver is going to get, I think they're going to get thumped here. I think Sean Payne opened his mouth, disrespected the coaching staff of the Jets, Nathaniel Hackett. So I don't trust Zach Wilson. I still don't, but I think the Jets are going to win 24-10. I think the Jets defense plays hard, and I think Russ gives them a couple.
Yeah.
Man, did we really just pick the AFC East to go 4-0 this week? She picked the Dolphins, right?
No.
Oh, I forgot you didn't do that.
Remember?
I picked the AFC East to go 4-0.
That's my ballsy pick of the week right there. The Giants over the Dolphins. I know it's not going to happen.
Don't put
I
any
genuinely
money on
do.
that.
No. I know it's not going to happen. It's just kind of fun to like throw that in the ring.
No, it is fun. I would agree.
All right.
It was humorous.
Yeah, a little bit. Cincinnati Bengals taking on the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. They're 3-point favorites. Joe Burrow can't throw the football because he can't plant his back foot because Zach Taylor wouldn't bench him for 4 games and let him heal. So now they're dealing with this where they're 1-3.
Yes.
1-3, probably not even going to make the playoffs if this continues. Jamar Chase is dropping F-bombs to the media. The team's falling apart. I'm taking the Cardinals in this game. Dobbs has been playing well. I think he's going to outperform the Bengals in this game. Give me the Cardinals all the day.
I sometimes hate agreeing with you on picks, like upset picks, because I seem like they never work out for us. But I'm agreeing with you all the way on this one. I think T. Higgins is going to be out. I think the most disappointing thing for this Bengals team isn't really their offense or Joe Burrow, because like they have an injury or whatever. This defense was horrific last week.
Egregious.
Really,
it's like my fantasy play last season. That's what we're talking about. Like bad.
Yeah, other than the Rams game, they've been pretty bad. Like the Browns, it was a mediocre game, but the Ravens are really impressed. I don't know. I've been really disappointed by their defense, and I think Josh Dobbs at home. I think they have I really underrated their weapons coming into the year. Like Zach Ertz is still really good.
Yeah.
Marquise Brown's played really well.
James Conner, running back, has been playing well too.
Conner, I like how they've run the ball. I like this Michael Wilson rookie.
Yeah.
So I got Arizona winning 27-20. Like I think they're gonna win at home. I don't think I don't know. I think the Bengals really misplayed their hand here.
Yeah, they did, and now might not even make the playoffs. But we're again 5 games in, technically, not even yet. So we're gonna have to wait and see on that. But my score prediction, which I left out because I was just fuming towards Zach Taylor, I would say Cardinals 21, Bengals 7. I think they scored a touchdown. That's it. I want to say Bengals 3. They don't even score a touchdown, but I know that'll probably happen, with a run. But anyway, next game I'm excited for. I think this is a big NFC matchup here. The San Francisco 49ers, 3.5-point favorites against the Dallas Cowboys. 2 NFC defensive juggernauts, right? Like that's the big thing. Offense, the machine of the 49ers. I understand why they're 3.5-point favorites for sure. The Broncos, the Cowboys. I mean, Dak's the question mark. Some weeks he plays great. Some weeks he kind of poops himself. So I don't know. I think the machine of the 49ers wins this game, though. I think it'll be close because of the defense. I think it'll be a 21-14 kind of game, but give me the 49ers.
Yeah, it's a tough game. I think for me, though, I'm going to pick the Cowboys in an upset because I think the Cowboys I think this is similar to those Bills games in 21-22 against the Chiefs coming off losing them in the playoffs. I think you get a little bit more juice the next time you play them. Obviously, they're playing them after losing in the divisional round last year. I just think Dallas is the team with their pass rush. I don't think this San Francisco offensive line is particularly great, other than Trent Williams is a fantastic left tackle. So I truly believe this Dallas D-line is going to get a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy, and I think we see a couple mistakes from him. This Dallas defense is really opportunistic, and as long as Dak doesn't throw the game away, like I really feel Dallas is going to win this game 27-24. I think this Dallas defense up front Now they could get run on a little bit. Obviously, we saw that with Arizona, which concerns me. But I think in pass protection, I don't think this Niners offensive line is going to be able to hold up against them. I think
Yeah.
Brock Purdy. I think we're gonna listen. Either way, after this game, we're gonna have a take on Brock Purdy and we're gonna have a take on Dak Prescott. And I'm excited to see what it will be. But I think the Cowboys win this game.
Alrighty. Differing opinion on that one. Like to see it. Mortal lock time. Mortal lock time.
They'll be terrible on this, but
I don't
just
know.
gonna,
I don't remember who I picked last week. I gotta look.
I'm just gonna cut in front of you right now and just say mine because I want to get at this. I don't even know if I want to make a moral lock because I'm so terrible at it. But I'm taking the Dolphins. I know we talked about it earlier. I think the Dolphins just trashed. I was thinking of either them or Lions over the Panthers, but I'm gonna take the Dolphins. I just don't see how the Giants can win that football game in Miami.
You want to know a surprise game I'm about to pick? Not one we've talked about. Okay. I just want you to be mentally prepared for what I'm about to pick. Okay. Because you might not see what I see. Okay. The Vikings overtake the Chiefs. I think the Vikings win this game.
That's not a mortal lock. You can't. A mortal lock is like if you get it wrong, you die. I mean, we're already dead.
We're dead. Okay,
in the ground at this point. But come on.
Yes, exactly. I'm telling you, I have a feeling the Chiefs are going to lose.
That's not your mortal lock, though. That doesn't make sense. This is a feeling.
Okay, I'm telling you right now, the Vikings are going to beat the Chiefs. You can hold me to it. You can clown me on Tuesday when we do the pod if it doesn't happen.
I'll wager you that one of us has to down
a Buffalo, like a little shot, like a shot of Buffalo Pepsi, or a little more than a shot.
Glass, like a regular,
like
glass.
A whiskey glass.
No, regular glass.
You're doing this. My mug with that size is this big.
Yeah, like you know the glass you had last time.
Yeah, like a whiskey glass. Yeah, the little one.
Oh, I didn't see what I forgot what you had. Yeah, I'm not a shot glass. I thought you said shot glass.
No, just the shorter glass, like this tall. Yeah. Ooh, I don't know if I want to do that.
Come on.
No, I don't.
Great content.
I don't drink pop anyway, man. I can't do that.
It's just a shot. It's basically come on.
So we're filling it up to like Kyle Brandt's hype Super Bowl prediction, like whiskey shot. Like that's what we're doing. Okay. Yeah. Holding you to that because you just agreed to that. But yes, if the Vikings lose to the Chiefs, I will do that. I'm telling you right now. And if the Chiefs beat the Vikings, or if the Vikings beat the Chiefs, you got to do it. Okay.
I agree.
All right. Blue cheese rim?
No, I'm not doing that part.
Come on. We got to go all in with the celery stick. Okay? Come on.
Don't put my mouth on it, but
you heard it here first. That's what's going on next Tuesday on the Buffalonian when we see the results. If we even remember our mortal locks, I don't remember the one I even picked last week. So, but anyway, that's going to do it for this edition of Buffalonian Podcast, Betting on the Bills. I'm Joe Cali. I was joined by Dom Loss. And Dom, how do we always end these, buddy?
Go Bills, baby.
Go Bills. In London.